Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into episode 17 of Unmatched. Once again, thank you to Mr. Wavy for joining us on the last episode that we did. But we have a lot to get into, a whole bunch to get into. Champions League drop pot, which was super confusing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I
absolutely.
I still am not sure. Like I thought I understood how it was gonna work, but I don't. I don't
Nope,
understand one bit. Um,
at all.
First 2 weeks of soccer have commenced. The Premier League, Serie A. We're just gonna talk about Man City and Roma.
We're
Uh,
doing just as bad as you guys.
yeah, but that's to be expected for you. It's not to be expected of us. Very
You guys
disappointed
spent
in my
like
team.
no money this transfer window. We spent all the money. We shouldn't be doing this.
We didn't need to spend money. Our team was pretty good. Anyways, let's not get into it yet. And then NFL season starts next week, and college football this Saturday. I'm so excited. As you can see, I got the LSU jersey. I'm not gonna tell you who it is though, because it's a little bit embarrassing. Um, with all the respect, of course. And I'm not an LSU fan. Don't get it twisted. I'm a Michigan Wolverines guy. Um, I guess we'll start with soccer, Serie
Yeah,
A, Premier League
Sound.
starting. How have you guys felt so far about the first 2 weeks of the season?
Uh, Personally, I feel like a lot of talent actually left Syria this year. And I think a lot of the teams, aside from a couple of them, like Juventus, kind of the same squad, if not better. Inter Milan, same thing, really. But I think everyone else has lost a lot of their talent this year, and it's kind of like a rebound year for a lot of them. And for me, this is the year where it's actually like I just don't know what's going to happen in that league.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknown variables right now, but that's how I feel at least for this area.
my prediction looks pretty good right now. I don't know. Juve
Two
look like
games in.
they're
2 games in. Relax.
yeah. They haven't conceded a goal yet. They look
They've also
very good.
played like
Not
Hellas
very good teams.
Verona
Yeah, no.
and
It's you can only beat the teams put in front of you, and so far they've they've not faltered like they did last year with the Liberty, where in the
yeah.
small games
Yeah.
they would lose points because they just played like garbage. They didn't play attractive. Like it just
Football.
looked boring, right? It just always looked boring. It looked like they were just always defending, trying to get the one goal, and that was it. They would win 1-0, and it was just really boring to watch. This year,
Yeah.
it's like a breath of fresh air to watch them play. They're more creative. These guys I've never heard of are starting to score. Like the first two games of the season, these two young guys have scored goals, and it's like before the season started, didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
So it's like
They're a
it's
lot more
refreshing to
tactically
watch.
sound.
It
And
must
the
be nice to
midfield,
have a good manager. It must be
Yeah.
nice.
oh,
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
and
But
they finally locked up Coop Myers yesterday or the day
yeah.
before, so
Yeah.
that midfield's just going to get even better. So it's
And
like
and Yildiz, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yildiz,
Yildiz?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
he is
looks good.
gonna he's gonna be phenomenal with this team and with Thiago Motta's tutelage.
Yeah,
He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with this season. Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And you had mentioned last episode that their midfield looks really good, and their midfield does look really good.
yeah,
And like you said, they finally locked up Poop Miners, and that's gonna be an absolutely monstrous addition to the team
yeah,
because he was playing at such a high level last season,
yeah.
and Netherlands really missed him
The Euro.
Euro. Yeah.
in the Euro. They really
Yeah.
missed him. I mean, listen, Ronald Coleman probably would have messed it up anyways because
Probably want
he's
to play them anyways. Even if they had De Jong
listen.
and
I'm not even
Myers,
Yeah.
gonna go
I don't
down
even know if
this
they would
rabbit
start it.
hole. I'm
It's
not even
all
gonna go down the rabbit hole because
done and
I could have
dusted.
fielded a better starting. I could have fielded a better starting 11 than Ronald Coleman did. That's for sure. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I think for me, whatever. It's obviously slow start for some teams. Lazio's been awful. Napoli
well, they
would.
won the first game. They lost the second, right?
Yeah,
There's been a lot of teams so far in the Serie A where it's just like up one, down the other. Like nothing's
yeah,
consistent yet. I
Milan's
mean, for
ass.
me, yeah, for me and you, it's just both
Yeah.
terrible games, both draws and then a loss. Like it's just to bad
And
teams.
Yeah.
like it's so crazy. Like they really had no business losing to Parma at all.
None.
Um, and Rafa's effort is just,
Yeah.
anyways.
Hey, at least you
It's
have another
just it's
striker
bad.
now.
It's bad. It's bad.
I just don't. Well, the bright spot out of that though is your center back signing is
Pavlovic.
Pavlovich,
Pavlovich was fantastic.
he was.
So I think that plugged a hole that was that you had in what was it, Chow or Thia last year.
Ciao. Yeah, ciao.
But my issue is, and this was the issue everyone was saying last year, is Pulisic should be playing at the 10 or the cam position,
Yeah.
not Loftus-Cheek, because Loftus-Cheek is a lot better
He,
in that center mid
he
role,
was
that's set
he was
6.
terrible last game. Loftus Cheek was terrible
But
last
that's
game.
not his position.
No, it's not.
But yeah, like you tie Torino in the first game and you get 2 goals in, and Torino's known for like absolute defensive, right? And allowing like as minimal goals as possible with Pulisic at the 10. And then you just go back to like last year's combo, which we already knew didn't work, and you guys
Yeah.
lose out to fucking Parma. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
don't get it. It's really simple. Whoever at striker, Tammy Abraham now, whatever.
Yeah.
Such a weird.
And it was just both dry loans. Like it's just a weird. Like at first it was supposed to be Abraham and like 9 million. Sorry, Abraham for Salamakers and 9 million, and now
Yeah.
they're just both straight dry loans. So it's like, what happened the last 2 days? Where
I don't get it. I
I don't
don't
know.
get it. So Tammy, I mean, that doesn't move me at all. Um,
Better than Jovic,
yeah, but
right?
Okafor is more than
Yeah,
capable of playing
Yeah.
striker.
You
for
also
sure.
bring in Emerson Royale for and Calabria's still starting.
So you have one right back who tries to defend for his life and isn't great, and then can attack, and then you have Royale who just attacks but can't defend.
Which I
They're
would
not.
rather.
Oh yeah, but it's just like now you have two fullbacks that are
And
just
it's
gonna
so
attack them.
crazy because a guy like Joao Cancelo went for like 25 million.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's
Like,
also because like he knew the like he wants to leave, and like, you know what I mean. That's why the price tag was so low.
yeah.
no, but it's like we could have easily
Oh, for
gone
sure.
and got him. Like, why are we getting Emerson fucking Royale? Are we serious? With all due respect, like, and if he shuts me up, he shuts me up. But
Mm-hmm.
come on, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? Anyways, um, we'll see. They have a big game this weekend against Lazio.
Yeah,
Uh, hopefully that can be a victory. Hopefully Pulisic is at the 10, Chukwueze on the right. We've already spoken about how the starting lineup should be. Hopefully
Yeah,
we'll see that. Inter's Inter. I mean, Inter, so
yeah.
far it seems like it's going to be a two-horse race between Inter and Juve. Um,
yeah.
and then for the Prem, I still think Man U is winning the league.
After
Um,
losing to Brighton last weekend.
I need
that's
to. I
fine.
have to say though, like their signings have been absolutely fantastic. But then I
So
watched,
good.
and then like I was like, damn, like this is their year. Like they're coming. And then I watched the game, and I was like, why do they just look like they're just confused? But I'm
Eric
Ten
also
Ten
Hag.
I'm also confused while we're starting Bruno Fernandez and Mount when you have Xerxes. But anyways,
It's okay.
Don't
Mount's
even
hurt
get me
now,
started on that.
so
I don't
Mount's out.
understand that at
yeah,
all.
like
Maybe they'll finally start playing Xerxes from the first minute instead of like the 60th minute, right?
They absolutely should. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Bruno Fernandez and Mount's out for 45 weeks now.
yeah, exactly.
Um, I just don't get it. I don't think Eric Ten Hag. Listen. I'm probably going to be wrong about them winning the league, but it's not going to be because of they don't have talent or they're not good enough. It's going to be
No,
because Eric Ten Hag doesn't know how to freaking put together a roster or coach up a roster. Because that team, you get Emmanuel Ugarte, who's one of the best defensive midfielders in the world right now. You have a Delict who's only 23 freaking years old. Lenny
mm-hmm.
Yoro, who has all the potential in
yeah,
the planet to be very
he's
good.
out
Like,
for a bit though.
yeah, he is out
Yeah,
for
A
a bit.
lot
He's
of them
supposed
are
to be
coming
back
back
in
from injury,
October.
so it's understandable. But honestly, fantastic transfer window for them, which I hate
yeah.
to say.
And
Absolutely.
Um,
Mazraoui's an upgrade on Wan-Bissaka,
yeah,
so it's like,
Yeah, yeah. So they have all the pieces to be competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
See what
you'll
they do
have
with
a
it.
Hoyland and Xerxes combo that you could, play around with. I just think it's gonna come down to Ten Hag. Now he has zero excuses, absolutely zero excuses.
Also, personally, I mean, I think Rashford shows glimpses of his old self, but I think the club need to let him go, and also he needs to leave. Like it's gonna be better for the both of them. Like I find
Yeah,
you give Garnacho the game time now because he's proven himself to be, I mean, a spark on the field. And I don't know,
yeah.
Rashford seems like he just seems not hungry on the field, and I think he just needs a new environment for him to shine again.
Yeah.
Um, so personally, I think he should be transferred out, but we'll see what goes on there.
I think so too. But it's just like I don't know who's gonna fill the void. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Man U is listen to me. This is Ten Hag's last season. If in terms of like it's either you're gone or you're staying for good
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Yeah.
there's no more excuses anymore.
He only got the 1 year
Um,
extension, right? Like he didn't get a
yeah,
big extension. He only
No.
got one
exactly.
year. Yeah, he only got the 1 year extension.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
you heard no. I heard no. Like I was wrong.
Oh no, no,
Sorry.
no, no, no. I was saying yeah.
Yeah. So like,
Um,
there's no room for him to fail again this year.
No.
Like it's now or
yeah,
never.
absolutely. No, I agree. And you just look at it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many teams that are competitive in the Prem. Like they got like 6, 7 teams, maybe 8 even teams deep that could
Yeah.
make Champions League spots, right?
Yeah.
Aston Villa, um, Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man City, Man United. I actually think Chelsea's not going to be that bad. Um,
For me, it's just
It's hard.
there's too many
Yeah.
players. It's too many players in
Also,
that
yes,
squad.
there's too many players, and we could talk about Chelsea now, but
Yeah.
Maresca, yo,
Plays they're exciting to watch attacking, which is
Yes.
great. Little
yes.
suspect defensively, but that's just because there's no like cohesiveness with all those players. There's like
Yeah.
they're gonna be running two different lineups every other game, so it's just like
But
why?
the thing for me is that I think he's handling the players that he's not playing so poorly. Like the disrespect that he's showing guys like Raheem Sterling and Chilwell, like yeah, I understand they're not part of your project or your vision,
Yeah,
but first of all, coaching turnaround is very quick in Chelsea, so tread lightly. And
yeah,
secondly, these guys are first of all, Raheem Sterling is, 10, 15 years from now, we're gonna be looking like, oh, Raheem Sterling was mad nice. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was that guy in
Yeah.
the Prem. You know what I mean? I don't want to say legend because
But
legend's a bit
the
aggressive.
streets remember.
yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like don't disrespect him like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if you want him out of the club, okay, there's a way to go about
Yeah.
things. Like there's nowhere in the organization that has stability. Not on the pitch, not on the coaching staff, not in ownership. There's zero accountability and stability anywhere on that team.
Yeah.
And it's a damn shame because they have talented players. Enzo
yeah,
Fernandez, I'm not a fan of. We saw today he ain't played that well. Um, I think Enzo Fernandez is mad overrated. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's mad overrated.
I mean,
But
it's
Cole
hard to
Palmer,
say anyone's not overrated at that price tag.
yeah. For 100 mil,
Yeah,
it's
when you're
hard.
paying 100 mil, like there's very few that are actually gonna be worth that price tag.
honestly, I'm not gonna lie, he worth like 40. Like he's worth like 40. In terms of how he actually plays, he's worth 40.
Oh yeah,
Forget
fair.
all that like and not factoring in like all this prem
Yeah,
inflation and
yeah,
all this nonsense. Like
Yeah,
straight up how good he is, 40. Like he is how much did Tonali go for again? 60?
60s.
70.
70?
I think it
60,
was
70?
65.
I
Yeah, something like
Anyways,
forget.
that.
It depends
Tonali,
euro pound too.
Tonali should be like double him. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Because Tonali just came back from a suspension and played with Newcastle against Nottingham Forest
Yeah,
and looked really good.
Yeah, he got an
And
assist, no? I mean,
I
like
think.
right away.
I
I'm not
believe
sure.
so. And that's
Yeah,
him not having been in action for 10 months.
Yeah.
yeah,
And anyways, don't get me started. So Cole Palmer, obviously, Reese James, I mean, Jesus Christmas.
Well, it's been a lot of injuries, and he is. Me and Barry
yeah.
just talked about this before you joined. He is suspended for 3 or 4 matches.
He had a 4 game suspension retroactive from last season.
It's
You
crazy.
didn't even know
When
that.
did he even
Yeah,
have time to get suspended?
That's what we were saying. I don't even remember
Like,
him playing.
exactly.
It was
it's
the last game of the
crazy.
season.
But I really do hope. Like, listen, he had the potential, or still has, to be
Yes.
the best
Yeah.
right back of all time in the Prem. In the
Oh,
Prem.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the Prem.
Prem's not. There's not that many like great.
Well,
Like
there's not
I
that
mean,
many great right backs
it's
overall.
to begin.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but in the Prem, he has the defensive acumen of a
He can do
Kyle
both.
Walker, the offensive capability, maybe not to the same level as Trent,
No,
but
but
still
But
very good
the
offensively nonetheless.
closest to him, yeah, with the defensive qualities that he has.
So
Like, there's no one that has both like he does.
yeah. So listen, they have the pieces, and they absolutely shellacked Wolves
yeah, Wolves are
last
bad
week,
this
six
year.
two. That was absolutely phenomenal, especially for my EPL fantasy team.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cole Palmer. I'm coming for you, Paul. I think I don't think they'll be as bad as last season, but
No.
I think they'll like hover maybe around like 6 to 7, maybe between 5 and 7 by the end of the season. I think they'll hover around there.
Yeah. I think they can. I think it's an issue, like you said before, of stability. So if stuff kind of starts blowing up in the dress room, because like, look, you have what 40 something senior players, right? You only have a
Yeah,
21 man squad, and he has. So like, I don't know who's bringing these players in, right? Like, are they talking to the
7
manager?
goalies.
Because he's going. That's what I'm saying. He's going in. He's saying, "This is my 21 man team. This is what I want." Which, look, I'm fine with that. They haven't had a coach where they're like, kind of like, you know what I mean, strict in the sense of like,
Yeah,
this is my project and this is what we're gonna do. I think you have better man management, like you said. But then it's like, these are senior players that are being paid like millions of dollars. They want to start, right? So
Yeah,
that is a possibility that could
and it's
cause them to drop point, this, that. You know what I mean? If the dressing room blows up. But I mean, I'm
yeah,
just. I think the coaching staff and everything they have is fine. I just think the issue is the ownership. He thinks this is, I don't know, the NFL or something where he could just trade players every year. It's like, look, a lot of players take a year to adjust, firstly, and also
yeah.
you don't need 55 players. You have a good rotation, you need depth, but this isn't, I don't know.
and
Yeah.
it's so
And
crazy
then,
because sorry,
sorry,
go.
go ahead. No, it's good.
Yeah, it's crazy because if Abrahamovich was still there,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah,
and he had this much talent, he would know he would put the right people in place to deal with it.
yeah.
A, and B, the issue now is who are you gonna get rid of? Because there's a high probability that let's say you get rid of 15, 20 guys in the next year or two. Maybe 6 or 7 of those guys are going to be extremely good players. So you really have to be able to have the right people in place that are going to scout these players and see who can really make it for not only for your team, but to really make it and do well in the Prem. Um, so that's another issue that they're going to have to deal with over the next year and a half, two
yeah,
years, or however long Todd Bowley or however you pronounce his name
It's Todd
yeah,
Bowley, yeah.
is. Todd Bowley is going to be in power.
yeah. And they put in an official bid for Osimhen today.
Yeah.
So it just
That,
gets
but that
larger and
that makes
larger.
sense. That's the one position
That's
that,
but that's the guy they've been going after all transfer window, and now they're just
yeah.
waiting until like the last second to put an official bid in after he was about to go to Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
right?
The,
Which is crazy that at 23 or whatever
yeah.
he is, like
Well,
he's
even
still
I
there.
think Kingsley Coleman is in talks to go to Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, but he's
Um,
like 26, 27, like
and
still
he's
not
still very
old,
good
but still
though.
He is
prime.
very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
This like I don't understand. Does the prep like get together and be like, yo, don't give Serie A teams more tun 70 million? Like they do not spend no bread on Serie A teams. Like they give them no money.
Well, who came? How
Unless
much?
you're trash. Unless you're like okay, sorry, trash is a bit aggressive. Unless you're like a Bologna or one of these types of teams, they'll never give a Juve, a Inter, a AC, a Roma like 60 million. Like Chiesa, listen, Chiesa, I don't care about form,
No,
Bro
but
is
it's because his
worth.
I will
contract.
say
It's because
yes.
his contract's
Two
done.
things: his contract's the last year of his contract, and second, Mata wanted him out anyway, so that drops the
Oh,
player's price.
yo, Lenny
Yeah.
Yoro was on his last deal of his contract and
That's
went
because
for.
there's also the Man United tax that they got to pay
Yes,
extra for
and
guys
it's
too.
also this man
Yeah.
like he's also they're paying on
Liverpool.
potential. No, I
Yeah.
look Liverpool stole him. I think he could at least went
Yeah.
probably like I think 25, 30 mil would have been acceptable just because of the two reasons we said the last year on the contract. He was on his way out regardless,
Yeah.
and I guess a third he hasn't been fully him since his injury. Still a
He
very good
was
player,
very good at
but
He was very good the second half of the season last
yeah,
year. The first half of the season he wasn't very good, but he picked it up and had a bunch of good games near the end
yeah.
of the year last year.
Yeah.
But that's a good pickup. It allows their. I mean, he doesn't go into the starting roster, but it gives like either Diaz or
I
Sala
think he
rest
can work
time.
his. I think he can work his way up there. He's a guy that when he's on his game,
He's
he's
way better
better.
than Diaz and Gakpo when he's in form.
And like he can also play as a striker, and I think he's more clinical than Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, but they're starting Jota now.
Yeah, but
He's better than Jota at his best too.
At his best, thing he hasn't been at his best for a while. I'm just saying
Yeah,
I don't
but
think he hits the
also,
roster just because I think. I mean, we'll get into this later. Slots to Liverpool. His style for Liverpool is a very fast pace, quick passes, counterattack. Like it's actually beautiful soccer to watch, and that's why I think
yeah,
Diaz and Salah fit that perfectly because
he is
they're
just fast as fuck. That's his game. He's speed.
yeah. But this Paul also keep in mind this is the best team he's been on in a long time, right? Like when he was on Juve, it kind of felt like
It
okay,
was him or nothing.
You and Vlahovic like just figure it out.
yeah.
You know
No,
what I
that's
mean?
fair.
We're just gonna feed you the rock and just do what you can. You know. Now he's not like you said. Sloth style's been like they've been really good.
Yeah.
Like I thought they've been really good in their first two games, and now he's gonna be able to go to a team where also he's not gonna have that much pressure on his shoulders, right? He went for a
No.
low price. Italian players do not have a good track record in Prem to begin with. And like you said, there's Gakpo, Diaz, there's other guys ahead of him. So when he comes
Yeah,
on, the expectations are going to be low, which he can probably, surprise a lot
exceed.
of people
Yeah.
in the Prem. We know
Yeah,
what he could do, but a lot of these people don't be watching
yeah,
games like that, Serie A games.
I
So
personally think they brought him also just because of the great price, but
yeah,
as
yeah,
a Salah, a backup to Salah, I think they're gonna put him on the right because they got rid of Carvalho who went to Fulham, right? So they don't have
yeah,
they can't rest Salah. On the left, they already have Gakpo who plays. I mean, on Netherlands, he's him. Liverpool's a little
yeah.
bit different, but I mean, he played odd positions last one, and Diaz, is similar to Chiesa in the style of like I think when he's on fire, like he's one of the best players on the pitch for them. The issue is he's very streaky.
yeah. Okay, drafts in 5 minutes, Barry.
Yeah,
When do we want to end this? 28?
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
that's
go
fine.
over the Premier League, the last couple of teams, talk about like how we feel about them, and then tomorrow we just finish it off with the NFL and Champions League.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So Man City is Man. We don't need to spend time on Man City. They're Man
Same
City.
team, and
Same
they
shit,
yeah.
different day.
yeah,
Like whatever. We
Shout
know
out
what they're
Rico Lewis
capable
though,
of.
he's stepping up.
yeah.
I got him in my fantasy league, bro.
Yeah, and he hit that bar right in front of the net.
Yeah, I
Nice.
got Rico and I
And,
got
Yeah,
Destiny on the left.
but I will
and
say
they
for
got Silky Oki back,
yeah.
so
Huh?
that's Silky Gundogan
Yeah,
is
Yeah,
back. So
free transfer
yeah,
because Barca's a mess. But honestly, I like
yeah,
the Savinho buy, right? Brought in basically Myers' replacement,
he's good,
and
man.
that I
he's
love
Mars
our
2.0. It's
yeah.
great.
So it's like look, it's 95% the same team, but I think our transfer window was fantastic in terms of like selling, getting rid, and picking up players who we actually need. And I find our style has slightly changed in terms of our wingers, right? Because we used to run like Grealish and like Bernardo, who are both fantastic, but now it's a lot more fast paced on the wing, a lot more attacking, driving the defenders from a wide point because you have Savinho and Doku you're starting, right? So they're just playing one on one on the side, which is a lot more exciting football to watch. I'm not saying
Yeah,
the other one's less exciting to watch, but it's still great football, right? It's just a different
Yeah.
style. But those two, it's just exciting to watch.
No, absolutely. So Man City, we know what they represent. Arsenal. I'm concerned for Calafiori. Like I think he really I don't understand this not running three center backs. I don't get it. Like you have three very, very quality center backs, and you're gonna leave one guy, bring him on in the 70th, 80th minute here or there, like and play him in a game here or there. Like, what was the point of going out and getting a Calafiori
Well, it's
if you're
depth.
not? Yeah, but that's not a guy that
You
at
don't
this
spend
stage
45 million for
No,
depth.
no,
and
but
at this stage in his career, he's not. That's not what he needs,
no, absolutely
right?
not. I just find
He gonna be better than Gabriel, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. I prefer look. It's hard to break up Gabriel Saliba just because of last year and like they've
And they've
proven to
been really
work,
good.
right? I prefer him over Gabriel. I think I'm not a huge fan of him. He does the job, but I'm
But
not a huge
Gabriel's
fan.
really stepped up though. He
He
stepped up a lot
has.
last year.
Um, I
Yeah.
just find the three center back isn't huge in the Premier League, all because I find a lot of the wing backs play like an inverted role, where it's a four in the back defending, but going forward it ends up being a three in the back because they're using Timber
Yeah.
to kind of slot next to Rice. Now I don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen because they brought in Marino, right? So he's gonna go next to Rice, which means they have kind of like that perfect three. Where Rice could kind of drop now. So I don't know if they're still gonna play that inverted role. Maybe they finally put Calafiori on because they don't need that inverted role anymore. But we'll see what they do.
But even at that, Calafiori is a better person on the ball than Timber is. So it's like, wouldn't you want him, someone with his quality, to be able to push up the field more? We saw it at the Euro when
Yeah.
he created
Am
our
I
only goal
frozen?
at the
No, you're
game.
good. You're
No,
good.
the goal against
Yeah.
Croatia was him, right? So it was him running up the pitch, able because he has the quality to push the ball up the field. So it's like if you're going to use Timber like that, I mean, I didn't get to watch a lot of Timber. He tore his
Yeah.
ACL last year, and then the year at Ajax, the year before, like I wasn't really watching Ajax, so it's like I don't know if he has that offensive capabilities the same as Calafiori does, but it's like we saw him for the last year and all the abilities he has going forward. You would try to use that, like I don't. So it's like to come off the bench, it doesn't really help him. Like his qualities get lost if you're only playing him 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
I like Tottenham. I thought they've looked pretty good. Um, I think they looked good last year as well. It was just injuries just absolutely ravaged the team.
Yeah,
Like it really stopped them from because if you remember at the beginning of the season, they were right. Like obviously it's early on in the season, I get it, but like they were right up there
well,
at the top of the
Madison
league.
was one of the best
Unreal.
players in the league for the first
Yeah,
Yeah.
month and a half.
absolutely. So it's I think that they'll still be good. Uh, that they'll absolutely be good, I should say. Barring injury, I love Destiny
Yeah,
Udogie. I think he's one of the best left backs in the league.
yeah.
Min Son is Min Son. He's a Premier League legend. Um,
Scoring right off the bat this
yeah.
season.
How do you guys feel about Solanke? I believe his name is.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about
Yeah,
that signing for Tottenham?
it's a bit expensive, but like it's the British tax. Like no British guy will go under like 65 million for like someone who's had one very good season in their career is a little bit too high for me. But like the quality he showed last year, if he can carry that into that team, I think it's a good signing.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they've been missing their striker since Kane left.
Yeah,
Richarlison didn't really maybe
pan
spurts
out.
at most, but it didn't really pan out. And I mean, he's still on the roster, and it's good. I think it's still a solid rotation they have up there.
yeah,
Hard to say on Solanke right now. Excuse me, because I mean he's already out for what 3 games with an injury. But if he produces like I understand the price tag a bit. Is it a little bit expensive? Yes, just because Barry said it's only a one proven year, but he is a proven Premier League striker, right? He knows the system already, he knows the league already, which is I think allows that price tag to be somewhat reasonable. Um, so he's already adapted to the league, right? He's just got to adapt to Tottenham's system, which I don't think will be hard for him at all. And I think it's probably one of their better signings in the last couple
Yeah,
of years.
yeah,
yeah. So we'll see what Tottenham does. I definitely expect them to challenge for a Champions League spot. Once again, there's
yeah.
so many teams in the Prem that can challenge for a Champions League spot,
Yeah.
which makes the league fun and makes it entertaining. Um, It's like very rare that there's going to be weeks where there's no interesting games,
Yeah.
where you can just be like, oh, this is a foregone conclusion. You know what I mean?
This weekend has a bunch of interesting games, a bunch of good
Yeah,
matchups.
and not just in Prem. Inter is taking on Atalanta in about like 40, like maybe an
Yeah,
hour or something like
Or about yeah.
yeah,
that.
in an
I'm
hour.
gonna definitely tune into that game.
Same.
Um,
You guys
Lazio
play
Milan
Lazio
tomorrow.
and Roma
Uh,
Juve.
yeah, but that's an outcome that's already decided. You know what I mean? Anyways,
I mean,
moving on. Also, you guys stole a
doesn't
signing
doesn't
from us.
Lazio have more points than you this season already?
I mean, who said I was saying Milan was gonna win? Um, you guys also stole a signing from us, Kone. I'm
Yeah,
very
Manu
unfortunate.
Kone.
We were debating before you signed him between trying to go for Rabio or Kone. Apparently, the plan to try to get Rabio is off now. Thank the Lord. I hate Rabio. Listen. He's a good,
I feel like he
good.
would be good for you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
Be- I saw Benacer in training. Guy looks out of shape.
Yeah.
Benacer
yeah.
does not look like Benacer from 2 years ago.
Well, he hasn't been the same since his ACL injury.
No.
Yeah,
And Rabio, listen, I said hate. That's a little bit strong. I just have a very bad um, memory of him when Ronaldo was there and that team was ass, and he was ass. He contributed to the assness. And all due respect, obviously he's better than me. But that's not saying much because I suck. Um,
he's
and
had a good 2 years since then.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
yeah, the World Cup year, he was one of the best players in that tournament, and then
yeah.
he kind of carried that over into like
Do
the
you
year
racism?
before. Yeah, so
So I think we're just waiting for Tonali to come back. To be honest with you, which I think will happen in maybe like 3 years, maybe 2, 3 years. Um, but yeah, no. So I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll see. Apparently, Atletico's looking to get a loan, or Marseille's looking to get Benacer. Listen, Marseille might win the league. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
They pick
I
up
think
some
they
good
will.
signings.
Like
I think they
they
will.
made great signings. De Zerbi is a fantastic
Yeah.
coach. Listen, I know Mason Greenwood's had his issues. Don't get it twisted. No one here is justifying what happened off the pitch, but on the pitch, he's still a very good player.
Yeah.
He is still a very good player, and that
And don't
was
forget Ishmael Kone too on that
Ishmael
team.
Kone. Exactly. So now, if you can go get a guy like Benacer as well, and have him maybe even be somewhat close to what he was 2 years ago before that ACL injury, Marseille can really do damage. Absolutely. Um, Going to La Liga. Also, shout out to Vincent Company for Bayern. Excuse me, won his first game, I believe.
Yeah.
3-2 was it against Was it no? It wasn't Mönchengladbach.
Oh, don't
I
know
I,
about it.
apo- I apologize for not
Yeah,
remembering who they won. I believe Harry Kane scored the winner uh, to give them the
Wolfsburg.
3-2 victory. Wolfsburg,
Wolfsburg.
thank you. Was it 3-2?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Harry Kane in like maybe like the 80th minute or up 80 plus or 75 up.
Gnabry scored the winner. In the
Gnabry
82nd.
scored the winner.
Yeah,
Okay. Or maybe it was a Harry Kane assist. Maybe that's what I saw.
yeah. Hurricane
Um,
assist.
so shout out to Bayern, but we do gotta talk about Real Madrid. And listen, I don't think what's happening right now is crazy. Paul, let us know when you have to leave. By the way.
Yeah. I got
Um,
there about like 10ish minutes.
okay. I'm not surprised. I don't think any of us are surprised. We know that when you have big names like this, it's an adjustment period.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mbappe's played 3 games. He's had 3 starts. He has no goal contributions. But when you have that much talent and you have that two guys that are so accustomed to playing on the left side, like Mbappe's not a natural born striker, right? Vinny is not a natural born striker. Rodrigo, he can play striker. He can play on the right. But who's going on the right? Mbappe or Killy or Vinny? Like that's not gonna happen. I don't think it's. I think it could be worth experimenting,
Yeah.
just to see how they do, because I just think it makes more. Mbappe's just too good on the wing
Yeah,
Like you need to put him in a comfort zone, but also it's just so much because like Mbappe is the best left winger in the world, but it's Vinny's been on the left wing for Real Madrid. They've
yeah,
won Champions League titles with Vinny on the left, so it's like you're not gonna tell Vinny to move. But it's just bananas.
Yeah.
But if there's anyone that can figure it out, it's Carlo Ancelotti. They just need more time.
I mean, I was watching
yeah.
them
It's
play against. Was it
Las
last?
Palmas.
No, it was the first game of the season against Mallorca, and
Oh,
it was just when they combine properly, you're like, yeah, no one's stopping this. The issue is it's until they figure out it seems pretty simple to stop just because they're heavy favoring that left side of the field,
yeah.
right? And like abusing the left side of the field where they're not even like it's very rare to see them play any other areas, which is I find detrimental to their game just because like you're kind of forcing like a two left winger kind of thing where Vinny and Mbappe are playing really close together. So that kind of forces Rodrigo into this weird striker position that needs to be in the middle, and also like that's not Rodrigo. Um, so they need to figure out. I'm not saying they're going to be left side heavy, but they need to figure out how to use the entire pitch because right now it's kind of very one dimensional because these are a lot of players are they're all pretty much the same
similar
position
style.
players, right?
Yeah,
So yes, they're still going to win just because of star power, but the issue is when they start playing bigger teams, not only in the league but in Champions League and tournaments, like it seems like an easy formula to solve.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do
It's just
you? No, sorry, go Bear.
it's just like it is, like we were saying before. It's just tough. Like Mbappe's best position is when he's on the left wing. He's the most creative. It's the where you can use his speed the most. It's where you can use his dribbling. So it's like he's not that he's kind of wasted as a striker. Like you saw it a little bit with PSG near the end when it was Neymar and Messi. Like it's not comfortable for him to be a number 9.
Yeah.
You can see that he wants to be on the wing. He wants to beat you with speed. He wants to create. So it's like it's tough when you have Vinny there, who's pretty much does the same thing, right? He beats you with speed. He has great dribbling, and he helps try to create. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna force one of them to be your striker? Like you can't have both of them play the left side constantly because it's gonna draw more defenders on that side, and then it's gonna just trap everything.
Would you guys consider running a 4-4-2?
I mean, I don't really think that solves it.
I mean, I guess you can play like Mbappe more of like a left striker, and you can have a bit more freedom to run down that way.
Yeah.
But then it's like you don't have another like you don't want to use Rodrigo as a striker next to him. They're none of them are really
In
none of them have size on them, right? Like you're gonna have two small strikers that are more flair than anything else. It's kind of having double of the same thing again, just in a more central position.
in
Yeah.
theory, what you would need to do is like a 3-4-2-1, right? So your four is like Vinny on the left, Rodrigo on the right, two in the middle, and then your 2-1 is like a left forward, right forward. The issue is, well, no, you would put like, so the thing is they don't have a striker still, like
Mm-hmm.
a true striker. But if you're playing that 3-4-2-1,
Yeah,
you would take Valverde and put him on the right because he's right the right mid because he tracks back and forth, and then you'd have the left forward, right forward as Mbappe and Rodrigo, and then behind Mbappe on the left would be Vinny. The issue is I don't know how defensively viable that is, and also you still don't have that true striker, right? Then your
mm-hmm.
two center mids you're playing basically Chouameni and Bellingham.
Bellingham.
Like you know what I mean? They have the pieces to fit that. The three center back trio. You right? If Alaba's not injured anymore, you run him with Militao and Rudiger, right? So you have the pieces to play that, except for the striker, which they still haven't gotten bought. Like I understand you spend all the money um, on Mbappe, but I mean you could get a proven La Liga striker for 15, 20 million, right?
I I would think that next season they're gonna have to really think about selling Rodrigo if you want to bring in like like
And then
you're
you
not gonna
push.
it's tough. Like you can't get rid of Vinny or Mbappe. Like,
No.
Mbappe is untouchable, definitely new signing. But it's like you can't really get rid of Vinny. He's too crucial to that team. What he's done for that team, and
Yeah.
that he's still very young. It's not someone you can get rid of.
But you see,
Rodrigo is still young and developing, but like out of the three, he
Yeah.
can still pick up some value in the transfer market, and he's kind of less important to how they run things compared
and
to the
that's
other
saying a
two.
lot because he is very important.
And he's very good, but like the team needs like a legit number 9,
Yeah.
and
But
that's not
what if
something.
That doesn't like
what?
it helps that, but it doesn't solve their two left wing problem, right?
You
Because
have to
like,
shift
look,
to the other
if
side.
you have Vinny or Mbappe on the right, it's not the worst thing in the world. You could have worse
No,
players there, right? It's
yeah,
just, I mean, you're not using the full potential of either of them, and it does cause issues. I find if once you're forced to play out of position every single game.
I think the only way they can avoid having to sell any of them is if Mbappe can take the same transition that like a guy like Thierry Henry took,
Yeah.
where he can
yeah.
excel as a striker. We all know Thierry could play left wing or striker, and he was extremely good at both. But when he played striker, he didn't look out of place, right? He was still able to get the full capability of his ability as a striker. So I think it's an important point for Mbappe to maybe. I'm sure he could talk to a guy like Thierry to ask him, like, how should I go about this? You know what I mean? What do I need to add to my game? What do I need to do to be able to be effective as a striker, as much so as I was as a left winger? So if he can do that, if he can be that effective and have that kind of
Yeah,
impact as
then
a
make it so
striker,
much easier of a transition, right? Then you can
Yeah.
play him as a
exactly,
striker.
I don't remember though
exactly.
when Thierry kind of pushed into the striker role. Was he a sole striker? I don't remember the
Well,
lineups.
Was it after
I think Bergkamp was playing
center
That
forward?
center
center
forward,
forward.
right? So
Yeah, he
they
probably
kind of had
played right
that
behind him.
dual combo.
Yeah,
But you see, like Jude can do that in spurts, right? Like
Yeah,
Jude can like.
Jude played
I'm
center
not saying
forward
like
all of last season, right?
I do
exactly, and I'm
prefer
not
him
saying
lower though.
Yeah,
for
same.
sure, but
As
you
a
wouldn't
box
have
to
him
box.
playing center forward the whole game. But
No.
on a certain run or something like that, like he
Mid
can
game,
he
like
can switch the formation into
Yeah, no, for sure.
be fluid. So it's all honestly a lot of it's going to be like Mbappe, like. You wanted to go to Real Madrid. You're at Real Madrid. You're at the best club
mm-hmm.
in the history of soccer. You got to make it work. This is what the best players do. The best
Yeah.
players of all time can dominate at multiple positions. The only person that didn't really need to do that is Ronaldo, R9. Like but like he's just different, bro.
He
Like
was just too talented.
Yeah.
he's
He
just
was
too good.
unstoppable. The only
It
thing
don't
that
matter
stopped him
what
was
striker
injuries.
you have, that motherfucker is going at striker. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But everyone else, Messi's played as a basically Messi's played as a 10 as a cam. He's played on
Yeah.
the right. He's
He's
played
played both
striker.
wings. He's played
You know what I mean? Ronaldo played as a right
both
mid.
wings. Played both.
Right mid.
He's more like a
Uh,
winger at the top, like his
yeah, but
right
Messi
mid,
can't
but it
play
was a
right
right
mid.
winger.
Messi can't play right mid.
They weren't really. He
Um,
wasn't really playing right mid.
um,
It was a
I
title without
mean,
the position.
whatever,
Anyways.
whatever. He played striker. He's played center forward. He's played left wing. Like, I can go on and
Yeah.
on. Guys have been able to adjust and adapt and be successful and dominant at whatever position, even defensively. Maldini, the greatest left back of all time. When he's a center back, greatest center back of all time. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to do that. The greats can. And if Mbappe wants to be remembered,
Mention your favorite player,
I have a lot. Who?
Ruud Gullit. The guy who
But
literally played
that
everywhere.
motherfucker, he's an alien though.
Yeah.
I love
That's just an
Gullit.
athlete.
I hope
Yeah,
Ruud Gullit hears of this. Ruud Gullit, however you pronounce it. And I'm sorry if I didn't get it right. Maybe I don't love you that much because I'm not getting your name properly. I apologize. But Ruud, I love you. I love you. I think I've said this, and he might not think this, but I think he's the greatest soccer player of all time. But I didn't even bring him up because he's an alien. He is an alien. Like he's just a different breed. There's never gonna be a soccer player like him again. I love Ruud. I love him. and no one can do what he did. The man was literally world class at any position he needed to be at on the pitch, except for keeper. Like he literally could be world class anywhere. Which is, I mean, no one else can say that. No one else in the history of soccer can say that. Um, but yes, on to Champions League.
Dude, there's no system. I am confused as hell.
Yeah. It. To be fair, I haven't looked into it fully yet to like try to understand it. But just
Mhm.
looking at the draw yesterday, I was like,
It's
what's
basically
going
you
on?
get two teams from each pot, and you
Uh-huh.
play 4 games home, 4 away. And the way it's set up is that you can never play. I guess in the first round, you can never play. I think a team, either a team or more than one team in the same league as you. So
Okay.
like Real could not have drawn Barcelona and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um,
So,
Wait, why not?
like the normal
be,
Champions League
Because
system where
is does Milan not have to play Juve?
hold on. Where's Juve? I look at the wrong. I could be wrong, but there's something where there's a certain amount of same league clubs you're allowed to play.
maybe it's only
Oh,
you're only allowed one,
I
like one
think
other
so.
team.
Um, oh wait, this is pot one fixtures. Give me a second. Sorry, I was wrong about that.
it's confusing nonetheless. The fact that we even have to try to figure this out is nuts.
Hey,
To
hopefully
be
it makes it
honest.
more exciting though.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
Damn, damn, damn. God damn.
I have the pot one draws, but anyways, there's certain amount of clubs you're allowed to play.
I know
Uh,
Liverpool. Liverpool. Okay, I am gonna fucking have a connection.
and
Holy
no, Milan is not playing
They have. I know
Juventus.
they have Liverpool and Real.
Yeah. Then Club Brugge, Leverkusen, Cervena Zvezda, excuse me if I butchered it, Dynamo, Girona, and then Bratislava. So yeah, you cannot play a team in your same league, and I think you could only play uh,
One team per country.
no 2 teams per country,
Okay.
because Real and Girona. So I think that's kind of how it's set up. And then it's 4 home games, 4 away games.
I'm
Then
sorry. Can you repeat the first part?
which part?
The first point that you said.
So it was you can up in the first round, I guess. You play 4 home games, 4 away games. You cannot play a
Hmm.
team in the same league as you, or and I think
Okay.
and I
So
think there's
Girona
only
and
two
Real are
within.
not going to play against each other.
Yeah, exactly, and within each, I guess I don't know how to explain it, but like each team has their 8 games. There's only 2 teams within those 8 games that can be from the same league. I'm pretty sure that's kind of how the pots were set up. It's odd, and then I forget how the next rounds go. I think top 8
So
go
top eight.
through.
So the top eight qualify automatically for the round of 16,
Yeah,
and then from 9 to 24, we'll do a knockout, a playoff, whatever you want to
right.
call it, in order to qualify for the round of 16. So I've already looked at the probabilities. Obviously, Man City is number one to qualify for the top 8 automatically. Then it's Real Madrid. Then it's Arsenal. Don't ask me why. I
Really?
disagree with that.
It could be the
Yeah.
pot draws because Arsenal play. Sorry, let me find it. I mean, yeah, they got a decent. Like PSG is no longer the same.
Yeah.
Inter
Yeah.
is gonna be their
Same
toughest matchup.
powerhouse.
Then they got Shakhtar, who I mean is decent. It always plays Champions League. Atalanta. I mean, we saw what they did last year. And then they got Dynamo,
And
Sporting, Monaco, and Girona. Sporting is pretty solid. The other 3 are, I mean, Monaco and Girona are pretty new Champions League.
yeah,
Monaco has been in the past, but not for a
I
while.
can't find the I can't find the thing I was looking at. I
I don't think
apologize.
they've been in the Champions League since Mbappe has been on the team.
Okay,
I think that's the
possibly.
last.
Possibly.
I think that's the last time they made it. The year they won the league, and then he had that great year. That
And
put him.
I believe Bayern was fourth.
Okay. I
Fourth, I
mean,
think. 50 something percent of qualifying. Inter was all the way down at 37% a chance of
Wow.
qualifying for top eight for the top eight,
Oh, top
Yeah.
8. Okay.
which is a little crazy to me. Uh, but we're accustomed to the Serie A slander over here. Um, Milan was 26% top of qualifying top eight.
Damn.
66
They got a
for
tough lineup.
qualifying 9 to 24. It's not it is. Listen, I'm not gonna get my hopes up again because I thought we could have
Yeah,
made it out of
especially at
Group
the
B.
start of this year too.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but like, listen, some of these games are winnable. We on paper to me have a we on paper to me have a better team than Girona.
Who
We
lost
on
a lot of
paper
stars.
Yeah, they
yeah,
lost all their players.
we on paper have a better team than everyone there except for Real and Liverpool.
Sorry, let me find it.
We're better than
Not.
Bayern. I don't give a shit. We're better than Bayern.
I'm not gonna
All
say
they have
no.
is
No.
they have Florian Wirtz and Frimpong and Grimaldo, and that's it. To me,
And a coach.
Very good
we
coach.
we got a coach too.
You do not have a
You got a
coach.
coach.
We
You
got
got
a coach
someone in
too.
the position of the coach.
Okay, hold on. Who got better center backs?
Tall left, right?
He's still
Tall
there
No, he
went
at
to
the
didn't.
Bayern.
moment.
Oh, I thought he was going to Bayern.
No, he's still
No,
there
he
at the
was
moment.
supposed to go
Pretty
to
sure.
Newcastle. There were talks of him going to Newcastle, which I actually would have liked. I would have liked him at Newcastle. I think they were willing to pay like 30, 40 million for him. Don't ask me why we didn't take it.
Apparently, I think I heard rumors Barcelona. I'm like, yo, dude, you barely signed Olmo. Like, let's relax signing players.
um, Obviously, any right back in the world is better than our right backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
they also
Theo
have
questionable
Frimpong in
Hernandez
the
guys.
right back, so.
Theo
Yeah.
Hernandez is still the best left back in the world to me. Excuse me. Overall midfield, obviously Florian Wirtz is the best midfield player between both teams, of course.
Yeah.
But overall midfield, I like our midfield. You know, Reinders,
But I
uh,
mean, Xhaka had a great year last year.
Xhaka
Yeah.
did have a great year. And listen, I don't think their midfield would totally outclass us. Is my point.
Depends the formation you
Obviously,
play.
Rafa Leao is. I think. Listen, I think I'm taking Rafa Leao on my team over Florian Wirtz right now.
No,
Right
no,
now. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm
no.
doing it. Yo, Rafa has never played. Okay, with like a top striker, top striker.
That's fair.
Okay, and I'm not saying Florian Wirtz like is surrounded by like freaking legends, right? Because he's not. So I understand that aspect of it. But also, Florian Wirtz has had a good coach. Rafael
Hmm.
Leao has never played for a good coach. So
He won
that's
the
all.
league with Pioli, so it's kind of
He won the league with
I don't know
Pioli, and it
how.
felt like it was almost in spite of Pioli. Um, no, so listen, I'm taking maybe obviously I'm a Milan homer, but I mean Rafa, we saw what he did with Portugal.
Agree to disagree on that.
Anyways,
But the
moving
rest,
forward,
you have a good shot.
listen, only losses I'm accepting is Liverpool and Real.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm expecting a result.
The issue with Leverkusen, you're playing them away.
You know what I mean, man? There ain't no problem. There ain't no
But
problem.
I think out of all the draws, PSG their draw is horrible. They play City, Bayern, Atleti, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, PSV, Salzburg, Girona, and Stuttgart.
That is. I'm very
That
happy we're not in that group.
fudge.
Very happy. That's crazy. Um, but I feel like you see that's an issue to me because I'm thinking this gigantic league table is supposed to curb, with all due respect, some
all the
weak
weak
ass
teams.
teams from making it to round of 16. But you make a group like that, like what are we talking about, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just luck at the draw, right? You had 4 different
Yeah.
pots, what, 48 teams? Look, I'm
36, no?
36. Yes, 36. Sorry. Look, I'm not against it until I see at least a year of it.
Yeah.
I know all of us kind of hate change sometimes, or at least off the
I
bat.
like it.
Um, we'll see how it goes. My only issue with it is, I mean, as a fan of the sport, I'll never disagree with more soccer. The issue with it is it's a lot more games for a lot of the teams.
Yeah.
So
And squad depth is already a problem for a lot
yeah,
of teams.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like, look, as a City fan, we have the depth and everything, right? We like, for us, it's not an issue. For teams like Real as well, Liverpool, stuff like that. The teams that don't have big of a market, I feel like kind of got a slap in the face because this is where it's like here's more games where injuries are already an issue in any sport, and if you don't
Mhm.
have depth, and I mean, look, if you don't have the market to buy depth, also, it's tough, right?
So basically, every team except for the top clubs in England and Bayern, essentially, is what we're talking about.
No, I mean,
And in
Inter's got depth, Real, and but you know what I
yeah,
mean. Like, look, it's I feel like a lot of teams are becoming more on par, at least for starting lineups, but then depth is becoming a lot more and more important now, especially with all like increased sizes, right? World Cup 2 is also an increased size, and so I mean, we'll see how this new bigger team format kind of pans out.
I'm excited to see how it plays out. Just it's something different to watch out for, right?
Yeah,
and we get to see better matchups that we would normally see,
yeah, exactly.
The
right?
only
Which
time we
I'm
would see those
also
matchups, we would only see them in like the semis or the quarters and the finals. Now we get to see them right off
exactly,
the jump. So it's
exactly. So I'm definitely happy and excited about that because there's so many matchups, and not just in soccer, in all sports that we don't get to see
Yeah,
because of how shit's set up. I always felt like the NBA should be 1 through 16, best teams.
all
It
all
always
North
drove
American
me
sports
nuts.
should go back to 1-16
yeah,
playoff,
I
like one
agree.
to eight or 1-16. Like if you want to do no East West, 1-16 is perfect. If you want to do
Yeah,
East West, then 1-8. I don't like the new, especially in hockey, the all the
yeah,
divisions and then
no, no, no.
two
but no,
plays
also,
three,
but
one plays wild card. Like no, let's
to me, it
one to
shouldn't be
eight.
like forget like you can still listen in the NBA and the NHL. Like conferences, it doesn't really matter because you're playing everyone anyways,
Yeah,
right? In NFL, it's a bit different, so I get that aspect of it. But NBA and NHL, it should just be one of the best 16 teams
yeah.
because, and then they start talking, and it drives me nuts. Oh, but the travel, if you have to go from, I don't know, the West Coast to the East, you know what I mean? Blah blah. This
Uh,
you're on a private jet. What are we
yeah,
talking about right now? Like you're not fucking waiting at you know Trudeau Airport or Pearson Airport, whatever wherever airport you're at. You're not
Yeah.
there waiting like the rest of us in line, going through customs, this and that. You have a private flight. Like what are we complaining about? And if you want to worry about scheduling, okay, put an extra day in between. Give a
yeah,
day of travel and a day of to rest or practice, whatever they want to do. Like it's really not that difficult. All this, I'm tired, I'm fatigued. You make fucking like 60 million a year, bro. What are we talking about right now?
Yeah.
Like back in the day when if you're talking about like in the 80s or whatever, like
When they were
before
sitting
teams
with
had private
everyone
jets,
on the
when they're
plane.
sitting with
Yeah.
everyone, okay,
yeah,
sure. Then I understand. But you literally have a private jet. You have access to the best medical and physical or training
yeah,
facilities in the world. There's no excuses. They got like fucking like cryo chambers, whatever the fuck that shit is. Whatever, like they like whatever you need, they have.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no complaining about travel. Please give me a break. Give an extra day, leagues. Give an extra day of travel, an extra day of rest, whatever it is, and then let's get on with it. Because
Yeah.
guess what? We never got to see Kobe LeBron. Why? Because we want to have East and West. How many times do we see bum ass matchups in finals?
Fair.
Right? Like especially in the early 2000s in the NBA. How many times did we see bum ass? It would be Lakers versus Nets. The Nets had absolutely no chance of winning. Lakers versus 76ers, no chance of winning. Spurs versus Nets. Like, listen, they're a good team, but like, it's no comparison.
There was no stars on those teams that really compete
No,
with Kobe and
no.
Shaq, Duncan, and all those guys. Like
Yeah,
The Nets teams was even like the Detroit teams. Like, there's no stars to say. They were just good teams. But once you
yeah,
came up to these all-time greats, it's really hard to compete.
exactly. And in the NFL, I mean, sorry, in the NFL in the '90s, there was a long stretch of NFC teams winning. In the NHL is a little bit different because yes, you can be outclassed, you can, but there's like it's really if like you can win. Like even if you're outclassed, you can still win because having the best players in NHL doesn't always mean you're gonna win the series or win the game because we saw Columbus upset the Tampa Bay Lightning a few years back.
We saw LA
Um,
win the cup as an 8 seed.
Yeah.
exactly. You've seen a couple of teams come back down from 3-0, from 3-1. In the NBA, those things are a little bit more difficult to do because um,
One player makes more of a
how
difference
you
in
how
basketball.
exactly like your stars. It's a star-driven league.
Yeah,
We all know
yeah.
this. In the NFL, different also like different
Football,
components.
hockey, it's more about there's because the
Yeah,
teams are bigger, right? Like basketball, once it comes to the playoffs, you're running maybe 8 guys. Like
Yeah.
you're not
yeah,
running that full roster. Hockey, it's 22 guys. Football, it's even more. Like it's more important to that depth in those sports than it is for basketball. Because
yeah,
especially, I mean, for a long time, the Stars were playing all 48 minutes, right? Like you saw times where like in crucial playoff moments they'd play the entirety of the game. You can't do that in any other sport.
yeah. It's true. So whatever it is, what it is. We'll see how this new format in Champions League goes. I think it's going to be good. I don't have any problems with it. More soccer. I understand it's more of a toll on the players, but I mean, also if that's the case, get rid of some bum ass competitions. It's that simple. You know what I mean? No one's like a lot of people do not care about Nations League. You know what I mean? No
Yeah.
one gives a fuck about Nations League. Get rid of Nations League. There's some FIFA Club World Cup. No one cares about that no more. Like it's not a serious. No one takes it seriously. With all due respect, no one takes it seriously. But once again, FIFA always feels the need to have to compete with UEFA and this all this nonsense. Like they wanna. Obviously, all they have is the World Cup, so they gotta wait every 4 years to really generate revenue. Um, it's just unnecessary. No one cares about the FIFA Club World Cup. You're gonna make some money for sure, but the best players are not even gonna be out on the pitch for the most part.
Yeah.
NFL season starts
Next
6 days from today.
Yeah. Not this
Thursday
weekend.
night
Next.
game, Baltimore versus Kansas City in Kansas City, a rematch of the AFC Championship. Maybe let's go. We can go quickly through our division winners or how we see each division playing out. Um,
Pull them up.
let's start in the NFC. Let's start NFC South, the shittiest division. Sorry, hold on. Let me take that back. Edit this because I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Let's start in the NFC South, which I would argue is the worst division in the league. I don't think it's as bad as it was last year because I think the Falcons are much improved.
Yeah. They finally have a
The,
quarterback, right? So, I mean, for all Cousins'
I
flaws,
don't
he
like Kirk Cousins
produced.
at all.
Yeah, but like regular season Kirk Cousins has always
Yeah,
produced, right?
Yeah.
When he's not in a prime time game, like if it's just
yeah,
normal time scheduled games, he just always produces at like an
yeah.
above average clip. Like he always does. It's when it comes to playoff time and then when it comes to those prime time games, he falters. But for that team, especially offensively, with how talented they are, they could take a step forward.
If I'm Atlanta, I'm starting. I wouldn't even have got Kirk Cousins. I would have
No.
drafted Michael Penix Jr. and ride with him because
Yeah.
I've said this before. He is going to be a star in this league. I think in terms of just pure throwing ability, I think he's probably the best in this draft class. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the full package. Caleb Williams is a prodigy. Like
Yeah.
he is the best. But if you're just talking about pure throwing ability, I got to go Michael Penix Jr. And
Yeah.
if you put a Michael Penix Jr. with a Kyle Pitts, who still has all the talent in the world,
Yeah.
with a Drake London, with a B. John Robinson, Raheem Morris as their head coach, they add a Matthew Judon, they get a Justin Simmons. Like The
Yeah.
defense is
The
good.
defense, yeah.
The offense has potential. Arthur Smith is no longer there to just be like, yo, dude, like, I feel like I'm watching a Ronald Koeman managing Netherlands. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have Kyle Pitts, who's one of them, who was, before Brock Bowers this draft, was considered to be the best tight end prospect of all time.
Ever. Yeah.
And he was great in his first year. And then bro's been super struggling since. And I'm not even going to blame him because I just think Arthur
He's
Smith
not
is
getting
that bad.
targets. Yeah.
No,
It's
he's
just
not. So I would say Panthers obviously in last, Saints
yeah.
third, Bucks second, Falcons first. That would be that's how I see it playing out.
I
I
mean,
see it
yeah.
pretty much the exact same way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't really trust anyone in that division to come
Yeah.
out. Like the Bucks, they still have like their weapons. I get you still have Godwin and Evans. Evans is a little bit older, but 10 years straight of 1,000 yards. He's just a model of consistency.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's just what kind of Baker are you gonna get? Are you gonna get another Baker from last
I
year?
think he's found a home. I think he's found a
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
So it's I could see them. I don't think the Falcons are gonna run away with it.
No.
I kind of see them. It's either the Bucks or
Like
the
a
Falcons.
9-8.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them are gonna make the playoffs, but it's not gonna be they're not gonna be a 12-win team and an 11-win team. It's 10-9
Maybe,
wins type
yeah,
thing.
10 is max for me.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much I see it the same way as you.
NFC East. I got, honestly, I think I'm gonna go with the Giants coming in last place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commanders in second, and it's just because I do not think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback.
After watching him in
him.
the last preseason game, throwing 4 picks or
Yeah.
whatever
They
he threw
didn't throw a single touchdown pass. The team didn't throw a single touchdown
at
pass
all.
in the
The
preseason.
preseason,
Listen, it is preseason, but
that's still
That's
just
still-
yeah.
Um,
That means your depth is terrible. Not you have bad
Yeah.
starters and you got bad depth. That's not a
Yeah.
recipe for success.
Exactly. So I love Malik Neighbors, though. I love Jalen Hyatt. I love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I got Commanders coming in third. I think I'm gonna go with the Cowboys at 2, and then Eagles at 1. Saquon Barkley addition is just, to me, gonna put them over the edge. You go get a Devin White, who I know was kind of not really playing as much towards the end of the season with Tampa, but Devin White is still, to me, and he has all the talent in the world. He's still a very good linebacker. And I think they're going to right the wrongs that they had last season, because last season they were very disappointing. Do you guys see that division playing out
I
any
see
differently?
it's similar to kind of how 1 and 2s can flip flop in the sense, same as the Bucks and the Falcons. I mean, both are definitely better. But I probably would lean with the Cowboys coming in first.
My problem with the Cowboys is that it's really CD or bust.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not going to be enough to win you. You have Zeke and Dalvin Cook as your running backs. Okay.
Hey, maybe Dalvin has a bounce back year.
All right, sure. Well, I'll see it when I see it. I'll believe it. If you lock up CD, who are you worried about on that receiving core? You know what I mean? That's my issue with the Cowboys. And Jalen Hurts to me is better than Dak Prescott.
That's cool.
Really, I didn't think this would be a point of contention.
I don't know. It's just I don't trust Jalen Hurts' health for an entirety of this year. He's been banged up the last 2 years near the end of the year. Even when they went to the Super Bowl, they were talking about how he was banged up near the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the style he plays, right? He's very, especially the 1-yard plays that you do with him. Hopefully Saquon takes that pressure off him, that he can stay healthier throughout the entirety of the season. But you saw at the end of last year, he didn't really run the ball much. He didn't really do many other things. And that led them to higher turnovers than the year before.
Yeah. But you see, the thing is that he's been a legitimate legitimate MVP candidate. Like he was right behind Mahomes. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and people made arguments for Jalen Hurts to win it.
Mhm.
Dak's never been.
Well,
To
you
me,
finished second last year, no?
Who?
Dak last season finished second.
Man, come on. First of all, I think McCaffrey finished second,
You did okay.
but I could be wrong. But
Mhm.
let's keep it a buck. Dak was not MVP.
No.
No,
Okay. Like, yeah,
the numbers look nice, but
like
like,
his second. I'll put it this way: his second place finish, if he did finish second, and Jalen Hurts' second place finish,
yeah.
are not the same,
Well, Jalen
right?
Hurts would have won MVP if he didn't get hurt that year. Like,
Yeah.
Well, but
oh,
also
could
Jalen
have.
Hurts. If Jalen Hurts had that season that he had this past season, he would have won MVP. Because let's not forget, I love Lamar Jackson, but this MVP race this past season was not entertaining.
It was
Like
just because he was the number
it
one
was
seed.
it was almost like, okay, who's gonna win this, and not because like multiple people are killing it. It's because a lot of people weren't doing as well as we expected it.
Yeah.
Lamar kind of cinched it once he beat the Niners.
Yeah.
Up until
Yeah.
that point, it was up in the air, and the Niners game was pretty late into the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I see that division playing out.
enough.
NFC West, I got there's the who is Card. I got Cardinals finishing in last, but they're gonna still be entertaining. They might be the most entertaining last place team. Seahawks third, Rams second, Niners first.
Yeah. The only thing I have different is the last
Seahawks.
place. I think
Yeah.
Seahawks last, Cardinals third, Rams, then 49ers.
I love
Same
Mike
as
McDonald.
Depending on if Trent Williams comes back. Because without Trent Williams, I can see a way Rams finish first in that.
Yeah, but we also have to remember that Aaron Donald's no longer on the
Yeah.
Niners. I mean, on the Rams.
Rams, yeah.
And we
this
have
season,
no
they got
clue
Cooper
how
Kupp
that.
from the start. They got Kyron Williams. Like that offense looks like a dynamic as possible.
They on paper may be one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah.
And they got Blake Corum. Shout out to Blake Corum, Michigan.
Blake Corum's
just finished winning the Natty. But once again, this defense could be a disaster without Aaron Donald. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but it's extremely possible that could be the case. He's been their anchor for 10 years.
Yeah.
But fair enough. We all agree, though, Niners number one?
Yeah.
For sure.
NFC North, I got the Vikings finishing in last. I got the Packers finishing third. I got the Bears second, and I got the Lions first. Let me tell you something. The Bears
This
are
division's
man.
They're
the second most entertaining division in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of all being similar quality.
Everyone could be. I mean, the Vikings, if they had JJ, would have been the different story.
I don't understand. Listen, I love JJ McCarthy. I think it was a great pick. I think he's going to be good. But I do not understand this whole JJ McCarthy's injured, like season's over. Bro, he might not even started. We don't even know if he would have started.
No.
I
don't think he would have started from the jump either.
No. We don't know how Sam Darnold's going to look. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
The Niners were like damn near like they love Kyle Shanahan loved Sam Darnold so much. It kind of felt like, oh, yo, even if Brock Purdy gets injured, we're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Like, this boy Sam Darnold's cooking right now. Like, there's a reason why the Vikings went to get him, right?
Yeah.
So JJ may not have even started, and let's not forget, like JJ's still a raw talent. Like he's still gonna have some things to work on. So this whole like, oh man, the Vikings, like they were a wild card. Like relax. They were not. They were gonna come in last in the division, no matter what.
Yeah. And we didn't even see all of his capabilities at Michigan because they ran the ball so much. So we don't know how good of a thrower he is. Like
He's
we
a
don't know the
five-star
rest of his game. Yeah.
He's a 5-star recruit, but he did what was needed of him at Michigan. He could have went to somewhere where they just throw the ball down the field, and he could have been a top 3 pick for sure. Yeah. But that's not what was asked of him. And shout out to him for being able to do that. And I think he'll bounce back, and I think he'll be a great quarterback in the league. I really do. Yeah. I think he can be. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as these guys, but he's giving me the feeling, okay? Now, I'm not saying he's going to be as good, but he's giving me, like, Joe Burrow vibes, okay? Now, I know Joe Burrow killed it at LSU. I know the numbers were insane. but just like the way he moves in the
Yeah.
pocket and so on and so, like he just looks like he just looks
Like a
like he's gonna
smaller
get it.
version of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, yeah, maybe a better runner with the ball than
Yeah,
Joe Burrow.
a better
I'm
athlete
not
for
saying,
sure.
yeah, but obviously Joe Burrow is the better thrower. But I'm just
Mhm.
saying in terms of like the type of success that I think you could have in the league, like being accurate, because Joe Burrow was one of the most accurate passers in the league. Like, and maybe I'm crazy, but I really think JJ McCarthy can be like that kind of guy.
Too bad we're only gonna
Um,
know next season, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate. So yeah, I got Packers third, Bears second, and Lions first.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree with you. Vikings in last. Uh, See, I also agree that the Packers are gonna take a step back this year. Like, I don't understand the full hype behind that team after the way they started last year, and I get they went on a super big run, but
Yeah,
that doesn't prove to me that they're a good team. It could have just meant they got hot at the right time. So it's like, could
because let's
they?
not forget there was a point where Jordan Love did not look good.
No, he looked terrible from like
The first 3 games he looked good. After that, it
where
kind
that
of
was.
went downhill.
Did anyone else see that? Sorry,
Yeah, I did see it
Yeah.
vaguely in
there
Paul's
was
screen.
I saw
no,
it
it
on
came on.
Luca.
Yeah, I saw it on Lucas' screen where there
Oh,
was
I
just
saw it
big
on
thumbs
Paul.
down. The
Anyways,
fuck? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe Paul clicked something.
I wasn't
Maybe
even looking
maybe it's
at the
like
screen.
pardon the interruption. Paul's giving me the thumbs down for my takes.
um,
Um,
but yeah, no, like it could fully well happen that they come back down to earth and they're like like 9 win team, 8 win team. Like they don't. I could see in a way where they miss the playoffs, and I agree with you. I probably have Vikings in last, Packers, Bears, and Lions to win the division.
Paul, you have the same list.
Same, but it could be the reverse of kind of what Barry said, where they stay hot and they sneak into that
Yeah.
second position. Like I wouldn't be like flabbergasted that happens. I doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak into the second.
My thing is that they upgraded at running back to me because Josh Jacobs is a better running back than Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones is good at catching and running, but he was never really good at either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was probably a better pass catcher than he was a
Yeah.
runner of the football. Josh Jacobs is freaking a great running back. Like he
Yeah.
can run that rock.
Yeah.
So I think they upgraded there, but for me it's the wide receivers. Like I like
Yeah.
Christian Watson, I like Romeo Dobbs, but they haven't shown, and Christian Watson more so because of injury,
Yeah.
but they haven't shown that they're true number one receivers. And Matt LaFleur earlier in the offseason was saying, like, I'm tired of hearing that, you know. But listen, dude, like in today's
Until they
NFL,
prove it.
Yeah.
in today's NFL, like unless you have Patrick Mahomes, and let's not forget Patrick Mahomes is Travis Kelsey, it's difficult to succeed if you don't have a true number one receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you look at most teams in the league, good teams, have a number one receiver. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be essential. Now, if Christian Watson takes a step and becomes like a 1,100 yard receiving guy with like 7 to 10 touchdowns,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And
Then
Dobbs
I'll feel
stays as
differently.
that red zone threat that he was last
Yeah.
year. Like it'd make
Then
more
we're,
sense that way.
exactly. But until that happens, I have my concerns. And the Bears, I love their offense. They shored up the offensive line a little bit.
Yeah.
Their defense is good. The offensive weapons are insane. And the Lions are the Lions. Like they really turned a corner.
They did.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
Agreed.
AFC. I say we start with the AFC West because it's the least interesting. Raiders last place, Broncos third, Chargers second, and Chiefs first for me. I think next season will be better for the Chargers, like where I feel like they have a more of a legitimate chance to win the division. Denver, like I like Bo Nix, but I don't like the receiving core. I like
Tim
Javante
Patrick, too.
Williams. Yeah, they cut Tim Patrick. The Raiders just don't have a quarterback. If the Raiders had a quarterback, I would totally feel differently. If they went out and
You
drafted,
don't believe in the Gardner?
If they went out and drafted one of these young quarterbacks that just came out of this draft, I would be like all over it. You know what I mean? Like Brock Bowers, Devontae Adams. You got they signed Christian Wilkinson from Miami Dolphins, defensive tackle, to pair him up with Max Crosby. Like it's really just the quarterback situation that's kind of not doing it for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's how I'm sure we would probably have all the same order of how that.
I have Broncos in last, and
Interesting.
then the Raiders in third, then
Okay.
Chargers, Chiefs.
Okay.
I just think the Raiders overall team is better
Yeah.
than the
Fair.
Broncos, and I Bo Nix is a rookie. Like he could perform better, but like we've seen Gardner Minshew have good spurts. He almost brought the Colts to the playoffs last year, right? So it's like
Yeah.
he can have good games and like not shit the bed. So it's like if he kind of just stays like a consistent level, I think they could be like a 500 team throughout the year.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Um, Paul, you have a similar list?
I have the same as you.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't think Minshew is gonna carry them into the 500.
Fair enough. AFC.
South.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do South. I got Houston at one. But you know what? Um, I almost changed that because I realized that they have a fucking difficult schedule, man. They got to play Baltimore. They got to play the Chiefs. They have to play the Lions. They have to play the Packers. They have to play the Dolphins. They have to play the Jets. Like now they're playing a first place schedule, and I think they're more equipped to deal with that than they were last year. But it's still a difficult schedule nonetheless. But I'll still stick with them just because I'm not sure about the other teams in the division yet.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jacksonville. I still have faith in Trevor Lawrence, but like I don't know, they just kind of fell off a cliff last year.
Yeah.
I listen. I don't know what the hype is with the Colts. I really don't get it because I know Anthony Richardson. He's a raw talent coming out of Florida. You know, sky high, sky's the limit for this guy. But what did people see in those 3 games that he played
I
for
don't
them
know.
to think that he's gonna take
Besides him hitting his own head on the floor.
like he wasn't knocking my socks off
No.
with
No, he
how
was
he
just
was
rushing a
playing.
lot. No, he was just
Yeah, I
when he
wasn't
couldn't
convinced.
figure
It
it out,
was
he tucked the
yeah.
ball in and start like putting his head down and rush, and that's what
Yeah,
led
It
him to
was
get hurt. Like,
exciting to watch, and I think that's kind of where people are like, oh wow, but it was exciting football. It just wasn't. How do I explain it? Like, it wasn't like, oh
efficient.
efficient. Like it wasn't like, oh, he's gonna be great. I mean, like, so I
Yeah,
think, you know what I mean. I think people kind of mix those two up.
yeah.
I guess it's kind of like
Uh,
they not to the same extent of the Ravens, but like a double running threat now with Richardson and
Jonathan
Taylor,
Taylor.
Yeah.
where it's like the Ravens have Lamar and Derek. Like I guess that's
Yeah,
why they kind of have a little extra boost because of how potent that running attack could be.
Yeah. Fair.
yeah.
But like
Still, you know,
besides Michael Pittman, who else has he got to throw the ball to?
yeah.
So
No, it's crazy. So I would say Houston. Then I'll say the Jags. I'll still put the Colts there, and then I'll put Tennessee. But I don't think Tennessee's bad. I
no,
don't. I think Will
yeah,
Levis is good. You have Calvin Ridley. You have DeAndre Hopkins. You have
yeah,
Tony Pollard. Like they
and
got a good
Spears.
team.
Spears was
And
a
yeah,
good rookie last year, so it's like
yeah,
they have a lot of good attacking. I just don't think their defense is going to be anywhere close to what they need it to be.
yeah. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
interesting, but I once again, the Titans could easily come in second. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how close I think the gap
Everything's
is
yeah.
between everyone else in that division. You get a L'Jarius Sneed at corner, who was an All-Pro caliber corner last year with the Chiefs. So no, I really do think that the Titans are going to be good. So they could easily be second, but for now, I'll be a little bit conservative. I'll put them in fourth.
All right.
AFC East, I got
But
oh
I
yes,
want
sir.
to. I have a little bit different of the AFC
Oh
South.
my
Yeah.
bad.
I got I got Titans in last. Same with you. The Colts. Then I think Houston, just because
Interesting.
of the strength of schedule, and there's always like a kind of a little bit of a setback with your sophomore season. Like I don't think Stroud's gonna struggle, but I don't think he's gonna have one interception all year again last year, whatever his number
Mm,
was. Like his TD to interception ratio was insane. Like it
yeah.
was kind of unheard of. So I don't think that could be maintained, but like I still think he's gonna be great. I just think it's
Mhm.
kind of gonna be a little bit step backwards, and that they're playing a lot of better teams next season. And then
Yeah.
I think the Jags finished at the top, and I think Trevor Lawrence has his first like really good season.
Okay.
Like we're all been waiting to see the Trevor Lawrence from college, and I feel like
We're
it's
gonna
what
see
year
that now.
4. I think it's finally his time. It's not that it's his last time because he just got paid, but like how many more chances are we going to give him before it's you kind of not label him a bust, but like not what the generate
Not what he lived up to.
like when he was at Clemson, he was like everyone was saying generational. Like
Like
he
John
was
Elway, Andrew Luck, Caleb
exactly,
Williams
and
type
we
of guy.
haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, when are we gonna finally say that he might not reach that type of potential? I think this is really his year for him to have his breakout season.
I agree. Paul?
Tennessee last, like the rest of you. Um, I'm still inclined to put Houston first, just because, but the schedule kind of throws me off.
And don't forget they added Joe Mixon too, which I think is an upgrade at running back.
Yeah,
And they added Stephon
I
Diggs.
think it's gonna be similar to last
Absolutely.
year, where it's gonna be Tennessee last. I think it's gonna be a swap of Jacksonville and the Colts because they did end with the same record pretty much. But I think Colts edge into second with Houston first. I don't like the schedule scares me, but I don't think that is enough to knock them down out of the first place position.
Got you.
Yeah.
AFC East, I got the New York Jets coming in first. I got the Dolphins second. I got the Bills third, and I got
It's last. That's unanimous.
It
Patriots
should be.
last
That
Yeah.
Pat's got to be unanimous last place in that
for
division.
sure.
Yeah.
Uh, I think first of all, yeah, unanimous last. Bills, you lose Stephon Diggs, you lose Gabe Davis. I'm not. I hope Keon Coleman can really,
Live up to
excel.
that
And
hype.
he a rookie
Yeah.
receiver out of Florida
Yeah.
State. I think he will do well. But he's not a Stephon Diggs yet. He could be. I love Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a breakout year. A
I
thousand
think that's.
receiving yards.
I think both they're going to really use both those tight ends
Dawson
this
Knox
year.
and
Yeah.
Dalton
Yeah.
Kincaid for
Kind
sure.
of like the old school Patriots type system where it was a lot of
Yeah,
two tight end systems. I think
yeah.
that's their play this year without like they signed Curtis Samuel. On most teams,
Mhm.
he's a wide receiver like 3. Like
Yeah.
On a
so, it's
good
like
team, he's a wide receiver three.
exactly. So it's like for him to be your second option at wide receiver, like or it's what him and Coleman are the top 2 receivers on that team right now.
There may be someone else that we're forgetting
Yeah, I
off the
can't
top of
remember
our
right
heads.
off the top. Yeah, but like that's not a recipe for like success. And their defense got really depleted. They cut a lot of guys. Matt Milano's injured again
Jordan Poyer's gone.
on
Tre'Davious
the
White is
Dolphins.
gone. Yuki Von Miller, who had 0 sacks last year in 12
Yeah,
games. Um, I just don't. They finally have a run game with James Cook, and he played well last year, but
yeah.
this doesn't do it for me. How do you see it playing? And
Uh,
also, sorry, Dolphins. Yeah, Dolphins are going to be the Dolphins. Offense is good. Defense, still have not question marks because I think they'll be good, but
mhm.
I think that Jets defense is going to be one of the best in the league. Like you got Quinnen Williams, you got his brother Quincy Williams, who's one of the best linebackers. You have Sauce Gardner, who I think is the best corner in the league. Then you finally have hopefully a healthy Aaron Rodgers with a
Yeah,
Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. Like
yeah.
they're stacked. They're stacked.
Uh, Agreed with you with Pat's last. I think that's just they're
Yeah.
starting Jacoby Brissett. They have no wide receiver weapons. It's basically just going to be Ramondre Stevenson, and they're pretty much going to just pack that box. And who knows
Yeah.
if he'll be able to fight his way through. I I agree with you with the Bills being third, just for all the losses and the fact that they don't really have a premier number one
And
wide
listen,
receiver.
if the Bills make the playoffs this year, I'll shut up about Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, fair.
I'll never talk shit about Josh Allen ever again.
Mm.
If they don't, I feel comfortable with my takes on him. But if he does make the playoffs, I will shut up about Josh Allen. Sorry, continue. So
in
now it's
second,
between your Dolphins
in
and
the
the
second
Jets.
I got the Jets. Only reason why I say that is because there are too many injury-prone old guys on that team. So I don't like.
Who?
Well, Aaron
Mike
Rodgers,
Williams and Aaron
Mike
Rodgers.
Williams, and then Tyron Smith.
But couldn't the same be said about Tua
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Tyreek Hill, who
I wouldn't
misses?
really say Tyreek is
He's not
injury
injury prone, but
prone.
he
He gets
gets an injury where
knocks.
he'll miss a game or two
Yeah, but the
in the
difference with
season.
the Jets, it's like those guys get
It's
injured.
long
It's
term.
not a game or two. Like
Yeah.
Mike Williams never
Well,
finishes a year, right?
Jordan Poyer, injury
Yeah,
prone.
that's
Yeah.
one. Yeah, for
Jalen
sure.
Ramsey's had some injuries, right? Like
Last year he was pretty healthy after when
after he came back from injury.
yeah, but he came into the season hurt, but
With
like
the
he didn't
injury,
miss a
yeah.
game. Yeah, he didn't miss a game after he came back, so that
Yeah.
was good. And then I'm a little worried with like the front of our defense until uh Chubb comes back, but like
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see Chop Robinson start from the get
Yes.
go, and he's very talented.
Chop
Watching him play,
Robinson.
I think he could be a key player for us this year, especially with having
Yeah.
he's gonna have a 4 game to start right before Chubb comes back, and then we'll
Yeah.
see how it goes. So it's like, and it's the fact is that he is a rookie, but he's not going to be the focal point because Jalen Phillips is already back from his torn Achilles. So it's like
Yeah.
he's starting from game one. So it's like all the pressure is going to be put on him. So it kind of leaves Robinson a little bit more, I guess, more free compared to Jalen Phillips because Jalen Phillips is our premier pass rusher. So like I can see him having a big impact on the game. I'm excited to see how Calais can. He is 40 years old or wherever he is. He's been in the league for 20 something, or almost 20 years. But like
Mm-hmm.
he's a guy that is consistent. So
And
it's like,
also, just to for those who don't know about Chop Robinson, this is a guy who is the reason he's coming out of Penn State. He's the reason why Michigan ran the ball 30 plus times consecutively in their Michigan Penn State game because he was unblockable. And that was one of the best O lines in college football last year. And they had to run the ball over like 32 or 37 times in a row. And they ended up winning. But they had to do that because Chop Robinson is a beast. Now, it may not show up on the sack numbers,
yeah, he didn't
but
have many
also in
sacks in college.
college
So
football is a little bit different. Like, guys
scheme
aren't
and
getting
then
17 sacks in a season. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it's a little bit different. Chop Robinson's legit, though, 100%.
And he's a bit more raw than most of the defensive prospects that were coming into this draft. Like he's
Yeah.
all met. Chop Robinson coming into the draft was all measurables. He would destroy the 40 time. He destroyed the bench press thing. Like he was a guy that just measured really well, but on the stat sheet it didn't really show. But like he is talented. So like put
Yeah.
into the right position and to excel, maybe something could happen. And I just think our offense is going to be more dynamic than the Jets' offense. I mean,
Yeah.
we have too
Okay.
many weapons with Tyreek, Waddle when OBJ comes back.
If,
Like, well, he's on the pup list, so he'll be back. And like
yeah,
they said,
but he hasn't even touched field at
well,
all.
apparently the Mike McDaniel said that OBJ didn't want to go on the pup list. He was going to be ready for like week 2 or 3. But like Miami want to be conservative and like maybe when he comes back, he's
because they can afford to be. They can afford
exactly.
To be.
And when you have 2 premier wide receivers, and then we drafted this guy named Malik Washington in like the 4th or 5th round, and he had a really good preseason. Our running backs, we have 3 really good running backs now, with AJ Mostert and Jalen Wright, who dominated preseason. So like, I'm excited to see this offense, and now we have a tight end who can. So it's not like we're left there. So it's like the only problem really is our O line.
No, it's okay. My
Uh,
bad.
the only problem really have with our team is our O line might be a little bit weak, but so is
Mhm.
the Jets O line. Like besides Tyron Smith, it's a little bit pieced together and a little older. So it's like
Mhm.
whoever's O line stands up the longest can pretty much win that
Come out
division.
on top.
Yeah.
Paul, how do you see it playing out?
Um, I'm leaning more towards the same well, I mean, Patriots last and then Bills third, but I'm leaning more towards Miami coming in first just because I'm unsure offensively for the Jets if they stay healthy all season. I think
Yeah.
those are the big question marks. Uh, my, I think my guess can change very quickly after like the first couple of weeks. But I think that's kind of how I'll stay in, at least in the preseason right now.
Mhm. And listen, it's not the Jets have a big test because they're going up against the Niners in Week 1 on Monday
Yeah.
night,
Hmm.
right? So if they look good in that game,
Yeah.
I'll feel very comfortable. I know it's only one game, but I'll feel very confident
Yeah.
about where they'll stand.
Exactly.
Now to the toughest division in football. And AFC North, excuse me. I got the Browns coming in fourth. I got the Bengals coming in third. I got the Ravens coming in second. And I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, I'm talking shit. I got the Steelers coming in second. I got the Ravens coming in first. The Browns, listen, on paper, every year they look good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When it comes down to it, they don't get the job done. Miles
Yeah.
Garrett did not deserve to win Defense Player of the Year. TJ Watt deserves it. I don't know how you can give Defense Player of the Year
Uh,
to a guy who had like one sack in the last 7 games of the season. It makes
Yep.
absolutely no sense. TJ Watt deserved it, and the league knows it too. It's some BS. Um, and they always going to do, oh, well, he led in pass rush win rate and pressures. And, did he get the sack? Okay, no. So shut up. What are we talking about? Anyways, um, I just Nick Chubb being out for a while disturbs me. I love Amari Cooper. I like Jerry Jeudy. I think this will be a fresh
same.
start for him. Um, but like, I just if you told me Deshaun Watson from Houston was coming in, they'd probably be first.
Hmm. With
But
that defense,
he just hasn't been
no.
Deshaun Watson from Houston, and I just can't. He hasn't been a good quarterback. So I just can't put him. I can't put him at. I,
Yeah.
he's just. I can't put him there. So I'm gonna say they'll come in fourth. Uh, the Bengals. The Bengals are the Bengals. They're good. Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the league, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, but you lose Joe Mixon, you replace him with Zach Moss. That does not move me at all. Jamar Chase, he might not even play week 1. He's been holding out
Yeah.
for this whole contract. I do think he'll play for sure,
Yeah.
but we don't know
How ready
when.
will he be for that game?
Exactly. You have a disgruntled receiver in T. Higgins.
Hmm.
Joe Burrow's injury prone. Okay, that's
Hmm.
another aspect of it. I think the defense will still be good, but I'm not convinced. Now, my Steelers. I think we have the best defense in the league.
Over the Jets?
Yeah, yeah, because I think T.J. Watt's better than anyone on the Jets defense.
Fair.
Is he a better? Yeah, I would say is he better as a pass rusher than Sauce is as a corner?
Well, first of all, I would say there's more good pass rushers than there is good corners.
True.
First of all, uh, but Joey Porter is a great corner. Cam Hayward's one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
Hmm.
Minka, I would argue Minka's the best safety in the league. Him or Derwin James or Jesse Bates, they're in the discussion.
Hmm.
Linebacker's probably the weakest position, but TJ Watt is a menace. And if he can
Yeah,
stay healthy, he is probably like
he's the most
outside
important
of
player.
quarterback, he's the most valuable player in the league.
Well,
Outside of
did you see a
quarterback,
Yeah.
record with and without him?
Yeah.
we're a disaster. We're absolutely
It's
a
not a
disaster.
good number for you guys.
No, and I know everyone. Oh, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, blah blah this and that. Why are we acting like Russell Wilson didn't have a good year last year? Like over 3,000 passing yards, which
Yeah.
isn't really much nowadays, but
No.
26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and the Broncos looked like a disaster at the beginning.
Yeah.
and picked it up late, and we're almost on a wild card race with a head coach that didn't even want him. Sean
No.
Payton did not want Russell Wilson, and you have a Russell Wilson. If he doesn't work out, you got Justin Fields, who I think still has the qualities
The
to be a
upside.
starting quarterback in the league. George Pickens, I'm expecting 1,400 receiving yards. He had over 1,000 yards and like 60 catches last year, which is nuts. Jalen Warren and Najee Harris as the running back duo. Arthur Smith as the OC. I like him more as an OC, more so than a head coach, and he's going to run the ball. And that's what the Steelers' identity has been for the majority of their organizational history: run the ball and play good defense. You have a dual threat running back system. You have two great tight ends, in my opinion. I think Pat Freiermuth is a very good tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Not numbers wise. He's not going to impress you numbers wise. He's like a Heath Miller, right? Heath Miller wasn't the best tight end pass catching, but he did everything pretty
Yeah.
well. George Darnell Washington. I almost said
Darnell
George
Washington.
Washington.
Yeah.
Darnell Washington. Listen,
He's a
he
beast
was
of a like just physical beast. Like I remember him coming out of college the
exactly
year before. He was
out of Georgia,
he was just he's huge.
and he was projected to be a first round talent, right?
Yeah.
And he dropped to like the second, third round for the Steelers,
Yeah.
and
He didn't really play
he,
much last year, huh?
he did, but he was blocking, which because we have people that don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing. But I
I
don't
wanted
expect
him out
that to
of the
be the
draft
case.
that year. When he was coming
Yeah,
out for the draft, I wanted us to draft him because we were getting rid of Gesicki, and I was like, well, if you want a big guy who can also block and pass catch, he looked like a guy who could be
yeah.
someone in the NFL.
But given that the Steelers don't have the greatest wide receiving core, you're going to depend on these tight ends.
Yeah.
And I love Roman Wilson out of Michigan. I think that's such a Steeler pick. He's a Steeler kind of receiver, great blocker, excuse me, playmaker when you needed to make big plays in Michigan. He was a guy that you went to. So, and then the Ravens are the Ravens. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a great defense. They got Lamar. They add Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is in his second season. Mark Andrews, like the Ravens
Yeah.
are going to come in first. So that's how I see it playing out. You, how do you see it?
Slightly different. I got Cleveland last,
Steelers third.
Steelers third, Cincy second, and then Ravens first. I think the Ravens could really push for a Super Bowl this year with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I think like we've never seen the last couple years. Derrick Henry's been putting up numbers behind a subpar O line. Now he's going to a team with a much better O line and a team that has another running like threat that teams have to worry about. Because you have to always worry about when the ball's in Lamar's hand, right? So imagine having an option play of whoever's going to run the ball. Like, I don't know, that's just dangerous to me. And like, if Zay Flowers, like, because Zay Flowers had like a pretty good year last year, was it? Yeah, it was his rookie year last year, no? And he had a pretty decent rookie year. So if he can just take another step forward, I think it could be really good for them.
I agree. Paul, how do you see it playing out?
Ravens first, I think Cleveland last, but I think Watson kind of not turns around, but I think he fits the role a little bit better, improves. He's been with them for what, 3 years now? 2 years?
This is his third season.
This
This is his third
into
season, right?
yeah.
So I think this is the season. Like he's got his first 2 years in. Third, I think he picks up running, not enough to get them out of that last spot. 2 and 3 are the hardest. I find it very interchangeable. But I'm inclined to go the Lucas route with Steelers in second. I think from the start they've always been, contenders, right? Making the Super Bowl and what's it called, the semifinals. But I feel like it's been slightly decreased each year in a sense, right? They've been very consistent, but ever so slightly on the wrong side, I found.
Yeah.
And especially with some of the pieces falling out this year, I think they kind of drop into that third.
I just think that this year's their last kind of year with core to really.
Yeah, because
Everyone
T.
Yeah,
Higgins
knows T.
is
Higgins.
they're not keeping
Everyone
Mhm.
T.
knows T.
Higgins
Yeah,
and Jamar.
Yeah.
yeah. So T. Higgins is gone next year. So
Yeah,
the last time we're pretty much in 1A, 1B type wide receivers because T. Higgins on his own team could be a like
Yeah.
that's how
I agree.
talented
Yeah.
I
that's how
agree.
talented he is. So it's like this is their last shot with this core. It's the same thing with like
Yeah,
in the NFC with like San Fran. I mean, not really anymore because they signed Ayuk last night,
Yeah.
but it was looking like it was their last year
yeah,
with
but you
that type
see,
of core.
the owner Brown, I forget his first name. I believe it's
He's a cheapskate.
maybe Mike Brown. Yeah, but he is the
It's
cheapest owner in the league, so that's
yeah,
the difference.
that's really the difference is that
Yeah,
their owner's pretty cheap and doesn't want to pay. So
exactly. The next thing we need to get to, and it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And once again, I might as well be candid. Uh, this is August 30th. Obviously, my background looked a lot different when we recorded yesterday, which is August 29th. August 30th right now. Um, and, some terrible news in the world of sports as Johnny Goudreau and his brother Matthew tragically passed away last night. Uh, they were both bicycling, whatever you want to call it. Um, and they were hit by a drunk driver. And I was at work this morning and I had seen the rumors. I probably woke up at around 3:45, 4 o'clock. And yeah, I saw the rumors. And I was just like, because I saw Johnny Goudreau trending on my timeline on X, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And I was just like, what's going on? Why is he trending? And I saw people like saying like, no, this can't be true, blah blah. And then the rumors were there, but once again, nothing was confirmed, and it was taking quite a while to confirm. And the longer it took to confirm, the more worried you were getting, right? Because it's like, why isn't anyone coming out to say that this isn't true? And then I want to say around 7:30 in the morning, I saw a press release or whatever, a release by the Columbus Blue Jackets on X acknowledging that Johnny and his brother passed away to, and I'm gonna be honest, a dumbass drunk driver, a dumbass that has zero self control, a dumbass that should never have gotten behind the wheel while intoxicated. And I understand these are alleged or suspected, so let me preface my comments by saying that this is an alleged uh, drunk driver or someone that was under the influence. Um, and he took the lives of two innocent people, and unfortunately, a 29-year-old and a 31-year-old brothers have were supposed to have their sister's wedding today lost their lives because of someone so foolish. It's terrible to see. And Johnny Goudreau, his wife Meredith, he
with two
leaves
young
behind his
kids.
wife Meredith and his two young kids, Noah and Johnny. It's a tragedy. It's really and truly a tragedy. My heart goes out to the family. My heart goes out to the wife, to the kids, to everyone that knew him, that was close with him. I just can't even fathom what it must be like to be in that situation. I've been fortunate enough to never have lost someone in that type of fashion, and I don't ever want to know what it's like because I can't even imagine the pain, and how hard it's going to be to be able to get over it. You know
And I
what I
can
mean?
only imagine the anger too, right?
Yeah,
Because it's like it's off the cusp of someone drinking and driving, which could be prevented and should have never happened.
yeah,
So it's like it's kind of hard to come to the fact of it happening because they 30 minutes before their bike ride they were all fine and then you lose them. So I feel like it's just that's so hard to grasp in that moment.
yeah. Absolutely, it's terrible. It's really terrible, and just a senseless loss of life. And in today's day and age is what makes it even more ridiculous because Uber exists. Obviously you
But
have a cab driver, you have a Lyft. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to be able to have service in these types of situations, and this man refused that service. And once again, we lost the lives of 2 innocent people because of it. So I, I just can't express my sincerest condolences and sorrow for the family. Um, it's going to be a tough one to get over, and I hope that they can get all the support that they possibly can from the organization, from family, from friends. Like we all know, these are times where you have to stick together and help one another out to be able to overcome and go through the. Everyone grieves differently, but be there for one another no matter what. So it's terrible, really and truly.
Been spending my morning just on Twitter or X, whatever you call it now, seeing like the outpouring emotions from everyone, all the people that know him, and all like the great stories that people are sharing about not only Johnny but like his brother Matthew, and everyone saying how good people they were. Just really tough to see. Like
Yeah.
I can't open my Twitter without seeing a new story about how good of people they were. So it's just
Terrible.
tough.
Once again, we just want to share our condolences with the family of Matthew and Johnny Goudreau, the Goudreau family, his wife Meredith, his 2 kids. Just share our condolences and hope that they can, and it's going to take a while, but hope that they can stay strong through this very difficult time. That'll be the end of our episode. We will see you guys soon. We're going to have a lot to talk about as usual, but that'll be next on the next episode of Unmatched. Thank you for joining us.